right, hello and welcome to another Expert Inside interview. My name is John Golden from SalesPOP, online sales magazine and Pipeliner CRM, joining you as usual from a sunny San Diego. And today I'm delighted to be joined from Boulder, Colorado by Sue Heilbronner. How you doing, Sue?
Great to see you, John. Thanks so much for engaging in this conversation. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and Sue is a sought-after speaker, startup CEO, mentor, adjunct professor of entrepreneurship, facilitator, strategic advisor, conscious leadership coach, co-founder of the MergeLane Investment Fund, creator of the Leadership Camp training program for high potential leaders, and a formal federal prosecutor, and a direct and fearless catalyst for change. Wow. And in your spare time, you do what? Yeah.
I spend a lot of time outside. We live in beautiful places.
Yeah. And you have a forthcoming book now, Never Ask for the Sale. You can see it behind there. Supercharge your business with the power of passionate ambivalence. All right, so let's get straight into it. Sue, so the title of your book, Never Ask for the Sale, right? I mean, that immediately is kind of challenges a lot of conventional wisdom, which is, I mean, people often say like, oh, they would do much better as a salesperson if they were asked for the sale. They don't ask for the sale. Like, did you ask for the sale? Like, I mean, so it's conventional wisdom that you should ask for the sale, but your title of your book is Don't Ask for the Sale. So, or Never Ask for the Sale. So, what led you to this? What on the surface sounds like a counterintuitive approach?
John, I know that you're right about the conventional wisdom. And in my experience, there are exactly zero situations where a failure to ask for the sale results in a non-close. I just don't buy it. I think the fact that somebody has already created a pipeline and they have already hopefully qualified a prospect and they have likely done some kind of fit or chemistry call or demo, and then they have likely sent some deal points for a possible contract or just an agreement that they're making without a contract, means that the sale has implicitly been requested and that everybody knows that. And in my experience, the asking for the sale is an example of what I think of as putting the salesperson in a submissive position vis-a-vis the prospect.
Mm.
And I really believe that, and by the way, look, let's be honest, this is somewhat extreme, right? I mean, never ask for the sale is most of the time. Notice when you are being subservient to your prospect and try to reinforce that selling and buying are mutual experiences is the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah, and I think that's really, I know, and I think that's a really, really good point. And just to underline that, because I think that's an issue that unfortunately afflicts a lot of salespeople, particularly because it means a lot of salespeople didn't become salespeople because they thought this was a fantastic career. A lot of people defaulted into it, or it's the only job they could get, and they kind of resist it, so they never really fully embrace it. And so I would agree with you, and I would also say that unfortunately a lot of salespeople do go in with a feeling of, oh, I'm talking to Sue, she's the CEO, I'm just the salesperson, therefore on a lower level, instead of going, Sue has issues, Sue has things, obstacles, or she has opportunities, or a company does that I can help with. Therefore, I'm coming in as a business equal because I have helped other people like you.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big feature. Now, in order to get there, something that I hear you talking about a lot when in these prior episodes that I've listened to is you as a seller or as a founder or as a grower of a business have to be incredibly aligned with what you're selling or what you're up to. Because from that position of strength and confidence, you know that what you're putting out in the world is something that you value, that you're great at, that you believe in, that has been a solution to problems other people have had. Once you know that, you don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to
Right.
be arrogant, but you can be an equal participant in a problem solving conversation.
Yeah, and that's, I think that's what people mostly want, is they want. I mean, I know when I engage with the salesperson, like, I want it to be somebody who knows things that I don't, who's going to give me insights that I don't already have, or is going to show me how they helped other people, like, creatively. So, I'm always looking for something of value from the conversation.
Totally. And when you say that, it really reminds me of something that is a core principle to me, which is when I'm having one of those conversations, another conventional thing you'll hear people say is, don't let them have the milk if they don't buy the cow, or some other stupid metaphor. And I just think that's flat wrong. Like,
Mhm.
if you're going to sell someone a SaaS product or a service and you don't deliver concrete value, even in a first 15-minute
Mhm.
conversation, I don't understand why anyone would buy anything from you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a good reminder that conventional wisdom is like it's rarely that wise, really, is it?
It's conventional.
It's conventional, but it's not wisdom.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about you have introduced this concept of passionate ambivalence, which I love. It's a fantastic term. I wish I'd come up with that. It's a great term. But it also seems like an oxymoron in many ways. So tell me, like, how in the pressured world of sales, tell me what passionate ambivalence is.
Sure. And like, props to you for oxymoron, because, in a sales podcast, getting to hear a word like oxymoron, you already won. So look it up if, I mean, that's just a great word. And thanks for noticing. Yes. The idea is, I believe that another piece of conventional wisdom is that you're not allowed to be excited about something that you are either selling or buying. So
Mm,
if you talk to a typical person about going to look at a home at an open house, or going to look at a car at a car dealership, and these are American terms, they may not translate to every
mhm.
country, but that you are supposed to be kind of surreptitious about it. You're supposed to not act like you like the car.
Yeah.
And I just think that's ridiculous. If you walk into a Porsche dealership and you're looking at a really nice Porsche, it's cool for you to like it. You can be excited about it. In the context of selling, if there's a piece of business that you are talking about with a prospect and you're enthused about it for yourself, for your company, whatever, it's fine to be as passionate as you are about it. You're not giving anything away by being passionate, because at the end of the day, pricing and terms are something that will be negotiated between you and the prospect, no matter
Mhm.
what. And so I don't worry a lot about leverage in the context of being as excited as I want about something. Where I do put my attention is on whether or not a deal closes. And there, I try to stay ambivalent. I
Mhm.
try to stay unattached about
Right.
whether any specific deal closes, because from that position, I have real power. And by the way, it's not fake. It's not like a parlor trick. I actually usually am unattached. And there are times when I don't move forward on a close because I don't think it's a fit and it's a mutual conversation.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because a lot of times, you'll see opportunities will stay in a salesperson's pipeline, right? And they'll pursue it and pursue it and pursue it, and it's either not a good fit or it's not going anywhere. But it's just so tough to give it up, because there's always that. Oh, just one more, get over one more obstacle and it's going to close, and then one you get over one more obstacle, another one appears. Letting go and being adopting that kind of ambivalence, that's really tough for a lot of people.
Yes, I think that's right. And by the way, let's be clear. It's really tough if you're in, if you just left university or you didn't go to
Sure.
university and you're in the first year of your sales career. It's hard. You need to prove yourself. The counterintuitive thing is, the more you're able to reach for this mindset, my contention is the more successful you will be. And so, of course, you're going to care. If you're commission based and you need to hit a quota and this is your quota, you're at the end of the quarter or the end of the month, you might care. If
Mhm.
you can notice yourself caring too much, getting desperate, looking hungry, and try to see things at 20,000 feet and step out of your own way, my argument is not just that you'll be happier in life, but
Yeah.
that you will actually be more likely to close that deal.
Mhm. And go back to what you said about there about being like passionate and excited and about your product or service. I think that is. I mean, I know. Okay, sometimes people have to take jobs that they don't like or sell things they don't like because they're. But generally speaking, if you're going to do this role, you got to do it for something that you feel passionately about uh, because otherwise it's picked up immediately. Like I said, I mean, if I get a call from a salesperson and they're super passionate and they really want to have a conversation, they're excited, I'm likely to listen to that. If I listen to somebody and I can tell by their voice that, oh, this is my 50th call today, I know you're not going to buy from me, you're probably going to hang up, but let me just get through the first few sentences of my pitch.
Yeah, I think that that's right. And I would say, even though, look, most of us need jobs. And
Hmm.
so sometimes, and at least in the United States, it's not the best the job economy has been for
Hmm.
knowledge workers in the
Agree.
last 10 years. So it's a tough time. You're going to get a job. I would still say to anyone who's new in a job and maybe it wasn't their first choice, to try as hard as you can to dig in and find something to which you can personally connect emotionally, so that you get to have some kind of excitement around what you're selling. It may
Hmm.
be around the way it solves problems. It may be an excitement around the leadership team. It may be just excitement around the sector and your ability to get smart and more clever and more relevant in the sector that you ended up in. But if you can find that, your chances of success, not just in selling, but in finding your next position, which you might like even better, are going to be
Hmm.
way higher.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's and if you're going to do it, you might as well give it a go. And if even if it's not something that is not your dream or whatever, it's certainly a good place to practice and hone your skills and to improve. And as you said, make yourself more attractive to maybe other employers in the future.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me how, when you work with founders and entrepreneurs and stuff, how does the concept of passionate ambivalence, does that translate into leadership as well?
Well, I think let's talk about entrepreneurs for a second,
Hmm.
because we haven't talked so much about them. Let's think
Yeah.
about founders for a moment. And I just want to hit that use case because I think it's really important. Many founders are interested in using external or trying to secure external funding through
Yeah.
venture funding or some other methodology to fund the start of their companies or the chapter 2 of their companies. In that context, finding the right investors and setting the right terms that are win-win for you and your investors, passion and ambivalence is hugely relevant.
Mm.
Where I've seen it not show up in the sort of funnel creation or in cultivation of a list of prospective investors or sales chemistry calls, investor calls for the first call with an investor, is sort of a request, like an ask. Hey, investor, I'm asking if you'd be willing to
Yeah.
invest in
Yeah.
this round, instead of, hey, investor, these three people are excited about being part of the round. The round is really shaping up nicely. We actually are really interested in having you involved if you think it's a fit. We're definitely moving along toward close, and we'd love to hear from you within 7 days about whether you'd like to participate. It's just a totally different context for fundraising.
Yeah, and what I like about that too is getting away from, as you said. I mean, a lot of people go out there and they're looking for money and they talk to VCs or they talk to angel investors or they talk to Ps or whatever, and they kind of like feel like, oh, somebody answered me or somebody's willing to have a meeting. And it gets back to that thing of putting yourself, you go, oh, these are the money people. They've done loads of things. They've done all these businesses and I'm just this startup guy. And so you tend to put yourself at that position. And again, as you said, it's as much about whether they're the fit for you as you the fit for them. Because let's face it, there's a lot of horror stories about ill-fitting investors and founders. And I think people also don't realize how that different investors operate in different ways. Some people want to be really hands-on. They want to be in the minutiae of your business. Some people want to be hands-off and say, listen, we're here to help if you want, and we'll guide, and here's targets. Some people are in between. But it's important to know that there's a lot of different types and that it's just as important that they're the right fit for you as you are for them.
Yes. And your question, you asked about how this ties into other aspects of
Mhm.
leadership. And one place I think passionate ambivalence is really relevant is, for example, in hiring.
Mm.
And there are certain people in our economy right now, people, you do have done a lot of AI episodes recently. And
Mhm.
if you are a developer with AI expertise and a lot of expertise in using the models to make you more efficient as a coder, you are very valuable right now. And all the news will tell you that. And so if someone is interviewing candidates for jobs like that, there is a level, I mean, candidly, if I tune into my coaching clients, like there is a level of desperation to bring on talent that has those particular areas of
Yep.
focus. And if you don't do a good enough job of passionate ambivalence, hey, we're very interested in you. We like what you're doing. And as you go through the process, including all the way down to the negotiation of the offer and the negotiation of the agreement for work, all of those interactions are opportunities to surface red flags where you know this is not a fit. If you get too vested in hiring someone at all costs, you lose your objectivity. You cannot
Mm.
see those red flags at all. So I really believe in it in that context. It's true in, say, performance reviews. If you are afraid to give somebody performance driven feedback because you're worried that they may leave, you're really hamstrung. Like at that point, you're working for them. They're not working for you anymore.
Yeah, and that's to paraphrase another thing, but I mean that's when you should be worried that they stay, not that they leave. You
Right.
know.
Yeah.
But I think, but you're correct. I mean, I saw this. I mean, I came here during the dot-com era to the States, right? And I saw this in bucket loads in the mid and late '90s and stuff. That the desperation for programmers. I mean, that's what it was up in Silicon Valley. Like every programmer had a BMW Z3 at the time because they were just, yeah, that was just almost like a given. It was like, oh, come work for us. Here, have a Z3, you know. And so there, everywhere you went, you could say, oh, there's the programmer.
Yeah, right. Now it's $100 million if you go to Meta. So
Yeah, and that's
you
$100
have a
million
lot of
if you go to Meta. But you're right. Recruiting is still one of those things that I mean, I always am honest about myself, and I say I guarantee you, I have recruited way more people who haven't worked out than I have people who have worked out, and I think that, and I think if most people are honest, that's the reality for most people, because we're just really bad at recruiting, and normally we just wait 6 months till we discover what they're really like.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's true. We can talk about passion and ambivalence and dating. I think it applies there too, but probably not related to the topic of this podcast, John.
I don't know. I mean, people might be very interested in that. I've ambivalence in dating. That's an interesting concept. Yeah, but tell me, let's get back to your moment, because your book is coming out. You're coming out next month? So yeah, give me a little bit more insight into what your book is going to deliver for readers.
Sure. First of all, I think the book's great for a few categories of people. The first one, and it's one that I hear a number of your guests talking about, is solopreneurs, whether they
Mm,
are doing a side hustle or a main hustle. The second is it's great for founders. And the third is it's great for anyone who's selling in any context, an AE, a BDR, an SDR at any typical software company or any kind. It's great for car salespeople, something else I
mhm,
alluded to today. So those are the primary audiences. And what I believe this book delivers is, first, it helps you understand how to place yourself at the middle of the sale and to get radically aligned around your gifts, your zone of genius, then to clear the blockers to your own success, which includes sort of limiting beliefs, upper
mhm.
limits, imposter syndrome, any of that stuff, getting friendly with that and figuring out strategies and tactics to really work through that. Once you do that, you're ready to be available to grow your business. And then you're really looking at, I take a look at the sales funnel, starting from the very top of funnel, leads that come in through the transom, somebody you meet at a wedding who thinks they
Mhm.
might be interested in your product or service, and using passionate ambivalence at every stage in the funnel. So actually, we have a giveaway now at neveraskforthesale.com. And if your listeners want to go there and request a download, I have a document that shows this is how passionate ambivalence works every stage, from top of the funnel down to fit calls, chemistry calls, down to pricing and terms, down to close, and then delivering on expectations. And that's available now at neveraskforthesale.com.
Yeah, no, fantastic, and I'd encourage people to go check it out. As I said, we'll have the links. We'll have the links below here. But just before we go, coming back to what you just said there about imposter syndrome and all these other things. I mean, there are so many things that are holding people back from being, the best version of themselves, for being as successful as they could possibly be, and a lot of it does come down to the perceptions of ourselves lack, or that you haven't spent any time working on self-awareness, or that you you, as I said, I mean, you haven't gained that confidence in your own abilities and what you haven't looked at your body of work and said, look what I've achieved over the years. So you're always going in with this. I mean, there's a statistic, I don't even know if it's true, but there's a statistic they throw around saying like 70% of our daily self-talk is negative. Whether that's a true statistic or not doesn't really matter because it feels right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think, John, some of this, one thing I've noticed as I've talked about this book is a big part of it is this idea that you are at the center of every sale. And if
Mm-hmm.
you tell somebody that, or you say, hey, when I look at how you conduct yourself in the community or on social media as a CEO or as a head of sales or as a seller, I see you intentionally and successfully putting yourself at the heart of every sale. They will freak out. They don't like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I really want to do in this book is say, hey, let's squarely look at you. Because if you think it's easier to sell a product, my water bottle, than it is to sell you, we have something to work on. And
Mm-hmm.
instead of just avoiding all the issues and pretending like it's no big deal to think of yourself at the center of every sale, let's literally tactically walk through all of your limiting beliefs, all of your upper limits, a concept coined by Gay Hendricks. Let's walk through those so that you can understand where those came from, so that you have better control of when those arise.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those beliefs are helpful. They keep you humble. They make you nice to deal with as a person. And that's cool. But sometimes, well, often, you want to have control over that
Yeah.
dial. And,
Yeah.
my primary job is to be a leadership coach. And this book does a lot of coaching around those issues to prepare someone for the actual tactical efforts of selling.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, listen, thank you so much, Sue. It's been a great conversation. As I said, all of Sue's information will be below this video. But before we go, please do tell people and remind people about what you do.
Sure. I primarily am an executive coach who's been really successful in selling and growing my coaching business. And I decided to write this book, Never Ask for the Sale, so that I can help other entrepreneurs be incredibly successful and reach the limits of their potential. You can learn more about me and this book at heysue.com/book.
Fantastic. Well, listen, thanks again, Sue. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll see you all again very soon. Thank you.